What you got, Ryan? Turn on some music.
And kill these mics if they still up.
All day. Check it out. See, while you was on the corner trying to scrape up pack money, I was driving 80 stack trucks off rap money. I'm back money. If you want it, come to the hundreds and ask for me. Meet them OGs that'll blast for me. I'm right here. Ill Adidas, $400 jeans on me. Itchy with no safety, a loaded magazine on me. Southside, that's as wild as it gets. And no, I never sold crack. That's some house nigga shit. I'm not judging, but every man that's a man gotta stand by his principles, and I'm not budging. That's Mickey. You can take it how you want, but you can never be me. You can fake it how you want. I spit that uncut raw. You can bake it how you want. Break it down any way you like. You get the same result. Get in tune. The elephant in the room has now assumed pole position. Whoa. Oh. BJ, get him. Come on.
Reporting live from the gutter where that butter get gorillas jobs. That's why we call it work. The same work who get a nigga robbed. I throw my dice against the concrete. If the bitches pass, see you later. Grab my paper, tell her stay to kiss my ass. This the jungle, baby, I'm a lion. Try me, I'll be firing. The same banger saved Private Brian. You the prey, you survive and hide. Better pray that them vultures and the rovers don't go flying by them. Them other niggas just so-so. How did the birth a nigga this hot in the cold go? I went from 20-inch assassins on that Osmo to the pretty 760 sitting low on them bozos. Those are big shoes, you motherfuckers is so slow. Get caught without your heat in these streets is a no-no. Baby need Pampers, daddy need that photo. It's bread or nothing, big old niggas, you see the logo.
Whoa. Whoa. Come on, Scooter.
Look, I don't see a nigga alive. And if a nigga claim he better, then that nigga done lied. And if some niggas jump chose, bet them niggas done died. You can always spot a cobra by the look in his eyes. You look at his click, check out his bitch, and look at his guys. Cause 9 times out of 10, all that tough shit be just a disguise. And that does it. I got the chrome Mac in a black luggage. Cause money ain't the root of evil, Jack is the lack of it. I stay different. I move around like y'all hate women. I'm starting to think this whole industry full of gay bitches. No checkers, it's a chess game. Catch me in the next lane. Fly nigga, bunch of ice on me like my chest ring. All money's pocketed that, like a Hamas rocket attack. Explode profit and jacks for your moccasins black. Acknowledging that he resides, these scriptures is heathenized. Y'all couldn't paint the pictures that he provide. Eagle eyes, eagle eye to beef out. Either scream peace or pull your piece out. The flow will knock your teeth out. From out west where we never put our rags down, nigga. If I ain't the best, most likely it's that Ragtown nigga.
That's me. All I can see on this beat. Whoa. Hey, haters keep hating. Y'all inspire me. Chicago, West Side, South Side, North Pole, East Side. Stick your chest out. Whoa.
It's happening. We are back. We are live. Had some technical difficulties. And we are back. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's watching on the I Said What I Said Facebook page. Shout out to everybody that's watching on the What's in It for the Black People Media Facebook page and the YouTube page and the I Said What I Said YouTube page. We see y'all out there, and we appreciate y'all for coming back as we had to navigate through a bit of a technical difficulty We appreciate y'all, man. Things happen, and we try to overcome them on the fly. Nonetheless, we appreciate y'all, man. Right before we dropped off, we had started to talk about Sha'Carri, the sprinter, who, in addition to being hella dope at what she does, she's unapologetic about it, and she don't mind telling you that she dope, and she shows up in that space. And I think that I saw something on Facebook or Instagram that I thought was kind of powerful about it. And what the thing said was, for everybody that is out here, you know, encouraging and championing the energy that Sha'Carri is bringing, and rightfully so, it's like, make sure you keep that same energy with the Sha'Carris that's in your classroom, right? If you a teacher or administrator, right? Because oftentimes it is the Sha'Carris of the world in the classroom. It's like, nah, shut up, don't nobody want to hear that. You need to be more, I don't know, humble or tactful or quiet or whatever, instead of living out loud like that. And I think that when you talk about, everybody, championing Sha'Carri's energy, in which they should, you got to understand how we work to take that out of black girls at early ages. And so I think that it's important to remember, like, if we think that energy is cool, think that energy is cool all the time, right? When she in the classroom or when you encounter her in public, you know what I mean?
What energy are we talking about though? Like the gumption and audacity?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, to say I'm the shit, to say I'm that girl, and not like in a negative way, not like I'm shitting on you, but like, I know my power. I know who I am. I know the work I put in. Every time you see me, I'm showing up to dominate some shit. Mm-hmm. I think that's okay. But I also think that we kind of mute that energy in a lot of ways in terms of how our young people are brought up.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's specific to girls. I think that's specific to black people. Mm-hmm. Right? I think we started the I Said What I Said group the other night.
Yeah, I finally got into the I Said What I Said group on the page. So
yeah,
shout out to everybody that's in the group for sure. We appreciate that. Just lost the camera again.
We lost the camera again, huh?
No, I think it's gonna come back. It came back on this side.
Are we being heard?
Yeah, it's not. We're still live.
Okay.
That camera is bugging.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting, man. I think we've kind of assimilated into this position of subservience in general. You know what I mean? Salim had an interview with a sister who was writing a book, who wrote a book about, her and her father wrote a book about Malcolm, and they talked about some of his educational years when he had aspirations of like being a lawyer, and the teacher was like laughing at him like, yeah, okay, good luck with that shit.
Right.
Maybe you can be a Pullman porter. You know what I mean? Now, that was Malcolm's experience, and we kind of have this tendency to believe that was a thing of the past, but it's really not. I think it's a today thing, and I think it's kind of figures into the factor that we only represent less than 2% of the private sector anyway. So when you think about those creative, I don't even got to go there, right? I'll go to my own experience,
sure,
or my father's experience. I'll tell you this flat out. My father's father was a mechanic, right? Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a mechanic. His side hustle was he was a saxophonist. He had a jazz band that was like his fun thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My dad came up being a visual artist, and his father always he forced him to learn auto mechanics, right?
Right.
And he was like, can't no nigga make no money drawing. Mm. You know what I mean? And after Vietnam, and maybe even during Vietnam, I think my father fell in love with the camera and decided he was going to be a photographer. And my father always told me the story because I had a limited understanding of my grandfather because he passed away early on in my life.
Sure.
But he was like, he had a show one time, and it was the only time his father had seen his work. And he came down to the show, and he legitimately broke down crying because he couldn't believe that a black man could make it in the way that he was making it. You know what I mean? It was like just unbelievable for him. You know what I mean? And when I think about like most of the cats that come up out of my family or even my neighborhood for that matter, a lot of us were creatives. You know what I mean? And the idea was like, yeah, all right, motherfucker, you better find something tangible.
Right.
You know what I mean? But even that in itself is a dumbing down of the possibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a dumbing down of the possibility. And you see, and it's not even just in the communities. When you actually get into the space, the actual industry treats you as such. I know goddamn well I don't get paid with a white firm with my skill set gets paid. Matter of fact, what I used to do is I get called for a job or whatever, and I shop that exact same job out to maybe 5 to 10 white firms and see what they would charge me for the job. And I'd have to come in under value of that by about 50% to even be considered. You know what I mean? So this is just the world we in, right? So to say, and I'm not, again, I'm with it. Yeah, fuck all that humility shit. I don't live in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think humility is a con. But I think that if we're being honest with ourselves, is that is the position that we've accepted, and that has been the position that has been anointed to us.
Yeah, I think definitely, and I think you see it play out in a lot of ways. But I think that when somebody does have the audacity to say, no, I can rise above that, right? When a student has the audacity and the gumption and the confidence to look their teacher straight in the face and say, no, I am going to be a world-class track star, or I am going to be the next dope musician, or I am going to be the next great artist. Like, even in the face of all of that, right? I think we need to be supportive and championing those calls and not say, you better have a backup plan. I ain't got a backup plan. Ain't no plan B, because plan A gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And who gonna tell me it ain't gonna work?
But that's the level of audacity.
Complete plan A.
Huh?
My plan B is to complete plan A.
Period.
But that's a level of audacity and gumption that you gotta have. You know, even today on the Book of Dawn, they was talking to a sister who's had the same exact story. You know what I'm saying? She had decided that she was gonna make cakes, and
Yeah.
and this is
sold
after
her
having a
house.
whole different
Sold
successful
her house.
career.
Yeah.
Right? And when she was like, I'm gonna make cakes, everybody looked at her like, you out your damn mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, however many years later, she's, you know,
Right. A successful.
a brand in that space.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's part of the journey, man. Without a test, you ain't gonna have no testimony. You know what I'm saying? It's just part of it.
And I think another word you can throw in there with test and testimony is testicles. Like,
Testicular fortitude.
you got to have testicular fortitude.
So Nick Cole said, "I hope black teachers aren't doing these things. They the ones who can't do
Well,
it. the
they do it.
most."
They do it too.
Black mamas, black daddies,
Yeah,
black, it's
they
the
do it
black
too.
experience.
It's white
is what
people
I'm
too.
saying.
But they do it
Yeah.
because they didn't see that kind of access given, right? And so like they really doing it out of love. They're not
They're
saying
doing
I
it
don't.
out of fear. It's not out of love. It's out of fear. It's out of fear.
Sure, but because I'm scared of this thing happening to you, I love you. I don't want that thing to happen to you. You know what I mean?
See, but that's why I question it, though, right? Can love and fear coexist in the same space, right? And this gets to the crux of how we say.
I think love and fear can, not faith and fear, though.
I don't think love and fear can, and I think that's where the crux of the conversation is. Like, I think that's what we always say. Like, all these conversations are interconnected. You know what I mean? So white supremacy is the umbrella concept, right? And that's true. White supremacy is here and it's not going away. But our acceptance of it is something different, right? But you have to have both of those conversations because we act as if one is operating outside of the other, and it can't. It can't operate outside of the other. You got to make a goddamn decision. Is this what you're going to adhere to or not? And if you decide to adhere to it, you cannot stand on the teeter on the other side of the line. You either a coward or you ain't. You either gonna love or you're not. It's not in the what's the Luke Skywalker? What's the name of that Star Trek?
Luke,
Star Wars.
I am your father. That's all I know.
Right.
I ain't never
There's a
seen it.
scene in the movie when Luke Skywalker was like, yeah, he was talking to Yoda. He's like, I'm going to try. And Yoda's response was, there is no try. There is do or don't do. Try ain't shit. Ain't no such thing as try. You going to do it or you not going to fucking do it. And I think that's where we teeter on like, ooh, it's this gray area. No, the fuck it ain't. You're lying to yourself. You just don't want to admit to your cowardice or admit to your fears or stand in the face of that whatever level of persecution you got to deal with. That is the lack of dealing or going through the test.
I'm in full agreement there. I can't quite get to the connection with the fear and love piece being mutually exclusive, right? Because I do think that people, like I know that my mother loves me, but I've also seen her operate out of fear with what she would rather me do, right? Just in general, right? And it don't have to be a career choice. It could be a event choice, an evening choice, a route home choice. You know what I mean? And it's out of fear, but it's the love component is still there. Now, I don't think that faith and fear can occupy the same space. I can't say, hey, I believe that you can go do that, and be like, I don't really want you to do that. I'm scared that you ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? That I don't think those two things can occupy the same space. But I don't think that fear, in and of itself, excludes love, or cancels out love. But your point is well received. I understand exactly what you're saying. I think that, you know, we have to get to a space where it's like, man, we just continue to applaud people who have the audacity to do it in the face of all, you know, opposition and all negative energy. Like, oh, you probably can't do that. Says the fuck who, right? Who said I can't do that? Simone Biles is the fucking greatest gymnast ever, right? Didn't have her parents, grandparents ended up raising her. Like, I can do it. Like, you can do whatever she want. And I want to mention this too, man, because when she was winning more championships last week or the week before, I think she like her 7th world championship, some bananas like that. ESPN or the Sports Center page on Instagram didn't mention it not one time, but I saw 100 million of those Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather things. Like, man, fuck that bullshit, okay? She over here doing real shit, and they need to acknowledge that. But anyway, she's super dope. And then Sha'Carri's super dope. And then there's another sister who's ripping it up in the pool right now. Like, she's killing all the shit in the water right now. And it's like, we need to be able to applaud them. And Simone Biles is not Sha'Carri energy. Simone Biles is gonna do 17,000 backflips, take a gold medal, and pimp off, right? Sha'Carri gonna blaze up this track and then talk shit. Either way, it's perfectly fine. But if we're gonna be like, yeah, Sha'Carri, we gotta understand what that looks like in everyday life. You gotta understand what that looks like when you encounter it at the restaurant, when you encounter it at the beauty salon, when you encounter it in a 3rd grade classroom. You gotta understand what that looks like in places other than world-class athletes, because it shows up in many different forms. And I think that you're absolutely right when you talk about this. This isn't just happening in the classroom. It's not just happening from white teachers. It's happening at home. It's happening at the dinner table. You know what I mean? It's happening in the church. Like we gotta address our trauma and understand that, hey, man,
look, I'm 45, right? Boog is my cousin. Boog has to be like 42, maybe 43, right? Boog he's a producer. He sold his first beat. Well, he gets robbed a lot first. Let me say that, right? But he was in the hip hop sphere. Like, I think his first place record was like a Foxy Brown. Like, he did a whole Foxy Brown almost album, right? But be clear, he got no credit because he was robbed by the people. I think Boog was like 18. Dude took all his music and legitimately got it from a restaurant and left him stranded in New York.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? Years later, he found several of them same tracks on that same reel attached to one of the Beyonce version of this Canadian singer. Like, she has, you know, Beyonce level success on records that are his that he has no credit for. Right. But he was like 18 when all that started happening. But in regards to like success in a real way where it was kind of like substantial and he could survive off of it, he probably didn't see none of that until he turned 40. You know what I mean?
But the stick-to-itiveness, though.
But understand the kind of commitment that he had to have.
That's what I'm talking about.
To live through 40 years of not seeing, not having, not experiencing. You know what I mean?
It's the conviction.
It's a level of conviction. Yeah. Right now, it's interesting to see today because 3 years later, after he's reached this plateau where he's produced Kanye's entire whole last 2, maybe 3 albums, and everybody's jocking him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's cats. I remember I was somewhere and some cat, and I ain't gonna say his name, but he's a Chicago guy who's known, and I know the dude. He cool cat. And he sat down. I was in the joint. He came and sat down with me and talked to me for like an hour. And we cool, but we don't have that kind of a relationship.
Now Boog starting bidding wars for his services.
But he sat down and talked to me for like an hour. And then when he got up to leave, he was like, hey, man, you got Boog's number? Nigga, you know I got Boog's number.
Right.
right? But you sat here for an hour trying to find a way to get into that inroad. But if you would have seen me 3 years ago, you would never had that conversation with me. You know what I mean? And I'm not tripping, but it's
I am.
how the world turns.
I'm tripping.
Well, it ain't worth it. You know, it ain't, and for me, it's not worth it.
Nah, you know why, man? It's you sent me a clip from Bo Dill, and Bo was talking about this very same thing, right? About, you know, not minimizing your people, right? And not, you know, shunning their dreams and not talking down on them and all that kind of shit. And when you sent it to me, I thought of one thing. I was like, because Bo's like, the minute some shit get big on this level, then everybody gonna be like, oh, that's my man and shit. Let me. It's like, no, the fuck, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I love I Say What I Said family, right? It's genuine, it's authentic, it's pure, right? But I would be lying if I said that it doesn't cross my mind or even bother me to a degree that people I know very, very well and extremely close to don't fucking watch it. You know what I mean? And it's like, but when it's on a certain level, then everybody, and it's like, nah. Or it's like the fucking Warren Sapp shit at the Morris party. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, yeah, it's just.
Are we saying names now?
They figured it out on Monday.
Oh, okay.
They put it out there. And so it was like nah, don't minimize what somebody is doing, because that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And Beulah made a statement here. I'm trying to find it. She says, black teachers are sometimes the ultimate purveyors of instilling the fear and lack of confidence in students. Internalized depression. That's why administrators are critically important. They hold teachers accountable. There's a colloquialism that says most teachers teach because they can't do.
True.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's true, but it's a thought, right? So think about this. As an average teacher, you're going to make whatever you're going to make, which is probably somewhere under $100,000.
Yeah, usually.
I'm assuming that's average.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah, average for sure.
Now, where does that rank if you're a real scientist? And this is a capitalist country. Mm-hmm. Are you going to adhere to the $30,000 to $50,000 paycheck, or are you going to go get this
unlimited?
Think about it. The people who create makeup are scientists at some level. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
What's their checks look like? Are you going to adhere to this $30,000? Because you'd have to really love children to do that. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. So the same people that you have in front of your children to educate them, in a lot of ways, might be the failed experiment of what they really wanted to be and try to do.
Yeah, you see that a lot though. You see it in the classroom, you see it on the court, in the
really
field.
Being that person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very real thing. But I think it's you projecting, really, like you projecting your fears and your failures on someone else who is just now growing into being able to attempt to do it, and it's like, that's trash. Like, you should not do that, right? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be like, oh no, son, I tried to rap and it didn't. I had to go get this job, and so that's the road. You like, nah, like, no. But I think that it also takes a certain level of courage, man, to step out and do that shit, right? You talked about the sister that was on the Book of Dawn today, right? And leaving her corporate job and to start baking because she knows she likes to fucking bake. That takes a lot of fucking courage, though. Yeah. To jump, to step out on faith like that. But faith and fear cannot.
Level of support too, right? You could deal with 1,000 no's, and one yes will elevate you to a level of confidence beyond all 1,000 of those no's.
That's it,
right? But think about I said this about the white kid experience. I told you this a long time ago. I said, when you see these white kids acting a flat out fool in public and nobody says anything, nobody stops them, nobody does anything. And I said, when you internalize that, you think of it in this way, like, I run the world.
They've been trained to say, I can do what the fuck I want.
I can do what the fuck I want to do. But then you think about it on the back end with black children. Think about how we're socialized. No, stop, don't are words that every black mama uses in her vocabulary often.
What is not J. Cole? Kendrick Lamar got a song, and it's like, every line is like, I smack the shit out. What is it? I beat your ass, right? And he's just going through all these different things about, your grades ain't good, I beat your ass. The room ain't clean, I beat your ass. This and that, I beat your ass, I beat your ass, I beat your ass. And it's about the fear that's being projected into that child.
Projected into the kid, yeah.
And everything
is, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, the whole song. Just
But it's
I
real.
beat your ass, man. Like, and that was
Because
the
I
whole.
said so.
Yeah.
Just those kind of monikers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's real shit. I told you early on with my children, man, it's not that I won't beat your ass, because I'll beat your ass.
Being that's necessary in
But
my humble opinion.
the very standard of that conversation in my house is whatever you do, you got to be able to tell me why you did it.
Right.
Now, if you can't tell me why you did it, then I'm gonna beat your ass. If you
Right.
can tell me why you did it, we can negotiate from there.
Because why is a phenomenal question. But that's also one of the things that we kind of teach out of our children, right? Children say, ask why, and we like, well,
Because I
said so, right? Because I'm the teacher, because I'm the parent, because I'm the adult. That's not a good enough fucking reason.
G, our experience has been shaped in fear since we showed up here.
Sure.
Right? When the police get up behind you, whether you did something
Sure.
or not,
It's
you
always because
nut
I
up.
said so.
You nut
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You nut up.
Every time.
Right? I was listening to some rap record the other day, and it was like, man, them judges in them courtrooms they're not gonna give you no fucking leeway.
Nah.
Right? It's like a moniker of thought. Whereas in this other community, we've all seen it play out in real time.
Yeah.
Right? If you know any white people and you've been in any of the incidents with white people, they have no qualms about saying what the fuck they feel to what is deemed as the authority figures in our community.
Nah, there's a video. I think I sent it to your Instagram. I don't know if we can pull it up with stuff acting the way it's acting. But there's a little white girl, 9 years old, looks like a school board, whatever, PTA type of meeting. And she's standing up there, she's talking about her disgust for the Black Lives Matter posters in the school. And it's so obvious that her mother, this Karen chick who's right behind her, laughing about this thing the whole time, like wrote this shit. But it was just like to see this 9-year-old little white girl popping off all this shit. It's just like, but that's what they're taught. That is what they taught. We are taught, be quiet, right?
Go unnoticed.
Go along and get along and come back home, right? And I think that has an impact. But I think there's a responsibility that comes along with allowing them to make those choices too. And Ready Rock made a great point a minute ago. She said Iman Shumpert, who's a basketball player, has a snippet regarding this topic. He said parents shouldn't shoot down the dream, but hold their child accountable for what it takes to achieve said goal, right? Mm-hmm. So you can come in here and you say, hey, Pops, I want to hoop. Do you really want to hoop? Yeah, I want to hoop. Okay, cool. Now I'm on your ass about hooping. You know what I mean? It's like, I was with you the other day, and one of Eric's coaches called, like, hey, for whatever reason, he ain't at weight training. And you called him, like, get your ass to the fucking weight room. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what you said you want to do. I ain't wake you up out your motherfucking bed and say, hey, you gonna hoop. You said you want to hoop. So now you gotta be committed. Now you gotta have the follow through. I'm gonna put the resources around you, right? I'm gonna make sure you got the right equipment, the gear, and everything else. Put you on the right teams, put you on the right spots, the right showcases, and all that shit.
Now show up.
You gotta show up. Mm-hmm. You gotta show up.
That same Iman Shumpert clip is funny, man. Me and my wife had talked about it. I've seen that clip a while ago, and I love my son G, but he's a different case. He's a case study in a lot of ways.
Okay,
you know what I mean. And I guess, they say the sins of the father return upon the son, right? And when it came to, like, academic achievement, I didn't give a shit. I've never given a shit. You know what I mean? And my grades were horrible. You know what I mean? Horrible. Now, I don't endorse this because it caused me issues later on in life. Like, I had to work harder to do certain things when I knew I could have did this shit early on. You know what I mean? He's like me in a lot of ways. He just don't give a damn, So I've always kind of leveraged, like, basketball as a conduit for him participating in education. At least, let me not say education, because I think education comes in a myriad of ways, but in school. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Hey, I know you want to hoop, man. So here's the standards that you have to adhere to hoop. It just is what it is.
Right.
And when he loses interest in basketball, or if he loses interest in basketball, school ain't got a goddamn chance.
Right.
So I've always kind of like put him in a position to be like, hey man, look, just try this now. You could go, you could do this, you could do that. And other people would look from the outside in and say, man, you're being too hard on him. No, I just got to understand who he is.
Right.
This motivates him to go further. This don't mean shit.
Right.
And I know it. You know what I mean? And I know several people who I deem as geniuses who dropped out of school. Because the shit is that
Don't
kind of
interest
a,
me.
it's institutionalized, right? This is bullshit. If you halfway thinking, you could say, hey man,
Yeah,
I think this is some bullshit.
it's some bullshit. It don't interest me. Period.
Yeah. It's an interesting paradigm. man.
I check out of all kind of shit that I'm not interested in. Like immediately. Like, I ain't interested. I'm checking out. Like I don't care. I was like that. I was that way in school. I was that way in everything else. Like I can remember like taking French, and I just didn't like the way the professor or the teacher. This was high school. I didn't like the way my teacher was implementing it. Right? It was like you have to speak French exclusively, but this is from day one. And I understand the best way to learn a language is to completely immerse yourself into that language. Right? I get that, but I don't know fucking bonjour. Like, how the fuck we gonna do this? And so I learned two things: to say, can I go to my locker? And can I go to my bathroom? Can I go to the bathroom? Because I was leaving every fucking day. Fuck this shit. Okay, I'm not. It's stupid as hell to me. But right or wrong, I don't know. But once I decide something is dumb, I'm done with it.
Hey, Jacob Israel makes an interesting point. He said, and that's why these kids doing everything they don't fear, the parents.
Wait, they're doing everything they don't fear.
That's why these kids are doing everything. I would assume, period.
Oh, they don't fear the
They
parents.
don't fear parents. I think that's interesting because I was having this conversation a little earlier with Boog too. You know, Boog called me. I posted some of the Hard Knock interview. I posted a clip on the Instagram page, and Boog saw the clip and he was like, "Man, this is dope, man. We need to be able to." He was like, "Where's the whole interview at?" Like he's only watching from Instagram or whatever. He was like, "Man, it's rare that you hear this kind of conversation from the genuine article with somebody that they respect," which was the goal of the Hard Knock interview. And we got to do a different one because Lil Mason was in here acting a fool, and you don't get the full
that was the Mason shit.
wealth of what the conversation.
Yeah, we got to dig deep into that.
What I wanted the conversation to be.
All right. Shout out to Knock though.
And Boog made some kind of statement, and then we was just going back and forth. And I said, "Man, I don't know if that's true for me." And and to the same thing that the brother Jacob says, I don't know if that's true for me either. And I think it goes back for me is like this warped value system. And I explained it to Boog, like, gee, think about it. I was like, you know, my first car was a Cutlass. Like, I wanted to be the dope boy. You know what I'm saying? I was geeking for Jordans. It wasn't too many barriers that I wouldn't go to get the things, the material possessions that
I desired.
Right. You know what I mean? And I said, and I come from a house and a community that offered me a wealth of love. As I grew older, I grew out of those materialistic desires because I could lean on my value because I was always valued by love. I said, what do you think happens to me, or you, for that matter, if we don't come from those kind of households, if we don't come from those kind of communities, if we don't have that backing in love, and our value system is shaped by the social standard, which is materialism? Where do we stop to feed those needs?
Sure.
And if you're not anchored in love, you don't stop. Anybody can get it. As long as I feed my own selfish desires. Because I'm not rooted in love. It's not fear that's going to save you. Love is much more powerful in my opinion.
We debate that a lot. Well, sometimes about what's the most powerful motivating emotion. And I really want to say it's love, but in my heart and in my mind, I believe it to be hate and fear.
It is love. The most common is fear. There's a difference. Love is way more powerful. Fear is way more common. There's many more cowards than there are warriors.
Oh, 100%.
Fear is way more common. Love is way more powerful. The book 1969, what's my man's name? Michael Dyson wrote the book, and he was interviewing somebody who was with King at the time of, like, you know, a few days before King's assassination.
Sure.
And King is speaking to him, and they're just having a private conversation. And King was like, "Yeah, I'm going to die this week. I know it." You know what I'm saying? And my man was like, "Well, shit, we ain't got to do this run. We ain't got to." And King was like, "Man,
What we ducking?
I'm here.
I'm telling you, it's
It
coming.
is what it is.
It's coming wherever we at.
I'm not running from this shit.
Yeah, it's coming at the Lorraine Hotel, or it's coming
I'm
at my
living
house.
in my proper light, G.
Right.
However this plays out is however this plays out.
Right.
I'm not afraid of it. That's a different level of power, G. That's a different level of gumption.
It is.
Right? The average human being.
Oh.
It's going to be like.
The overwhelming
Oh,
majority.
we can quit? All right, shit. Let's quit.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
The overwhelming majority of people are just going to be like, yeah, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want that smoke.
But it's again, not having the conviction. You got to be convicted in some shit, G. Like, you got to be convicted in some shit to stick to it in the face of not only opposition.
Grow that out of fear. You can only grow that out of love.
Oh, agreed. I'm saying fear is the other side of that shit. But I'm also saying that fear, because of what you're saying, to me, that makes fear the greater motivator. Because that's what people respond to more often than not. That is how they move. They move out of fear. If most people were moving out of love, that shit is turned up real loud.
I know it's a lot going on.
That is most people are moving out of a fear response, not from a love response, right? It's not a love response that makes people get up and do something that they don't want to do every day. When there's something in their heart that they know that they really do want to do. That is a fear response. And if the overwhelming majority of the population is doing that, then to me that says that the fear is a greater motivator than the love.
I still disagree. I think it's not a greater, it's just more common, right? And I think that it's the basic breakdown in anything, though, G. Mm-hmm. Like I think America in general is like maybe like 8% entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think the very nature of this social standard, and we cannot forfeit the social standard. It shapes all of our belief systems in most cases.
100%.
Right? Actually, when you operate outside of the social standard, you look like a fucking weirdo, no matter in what capacity. If it's the way you dress, if it's the way you know what I'm saying? You're 100%. The fucking weirdo. You're the exception, not the standard. You know what I mean? That's the definition of standard.
100%.
But like 8% of the American population is entrepreneurs, which means that all that bullshit they tell you from day one, you can dream and no. This is a fucking assembly line.
Right.
And you're going to fit where the fuck I tell you to fit.
Right.
It's only 8% of the population that said, man, wait a minute now.
I'm gonna do this other thing.
This shit I ain't comfortable with this shit.
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
And and it's not even to say that everybody should be doing that, right? It ain't really for everybody, right? Some people are perfectly placed at their corporate job or whatever it is. They are perfectly placed there. But I'm saying there is also a large segment of the population who really wants to do something else. But if I do something else, is that paycheck gonna come in every 2 weeks?
Fear. My G. Right. I was just about to say that. There was a question online this morning that asked if you could make $100,000 at a job you hate or $50,000 at a job you love, which one would you take?
I'm doing the one I love, G. Every time I'm doing the one I love.
I wish I could pull this up. I don't know where I saw that question. But it was a whole quadrant of people who said the $100,000 because I could do shit I love.
Of course.
After those 8 hours.
As I just said that, I know I can almost hear people out there watching the show like he's fucking lying, and I'm I'm not.
But even how they explain it, right? That's why perspective is so important. Mm-hmm. Even how they explained it was like, I can give this $100,000 gives me the freedom. This was the explanation. Mm-hmm. The $100,000 would give me the freedom to explore life outside of, said 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In our reality, what you're doing is adhering to a level of slavery. Mm-hmm. You're not getting freedom. You are a slave to the 100.
Yes, you are.
But perspective is amazing. In your mind, you're getting freedom. You know what I mean? But in reality, you're acquiescing to slavery.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of perspective, though. It's how you see the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's about where is your true happiness at? Where do you find happiness? And then what is the price you're willing to pay to get it? Or to not have it, right? What price can somebody pay you to sell your happiness? And it's like, nah, I'm not willing to do it, G. I'm just not willing. I'm not willing to do that, right? And comfort be damned, right? I'll walk away from whatever. If it becomes unhappy and uncomfortable, I'll bounce.
King Salim just said, damn, too, I just realized I've done a lot of business with your pops. He was out here.
That's what's up.
I used to be that's funny too. I used to see my upbringing was fucking special, mm-hmm. right? I remember when the minister had an office right above Salam's restaurant, or right next to Salam's, not above Salam's. It was a building next door, and it's where they still print the final calls. And
Final call.
I used to go into that office, and I was a young boy. It's funny. This is really funny. Now I think about it. So I introduced Eric to the minister one day, and we in there talking at the mosque in his back office. And let me not say we was in there talking, because I went to say some shit, and the minister basically was like, man, shut up, I'm talking to Eric.
That sound about him.
I was like, hold on, fam. Don't do me like that. Don't disrespect me like that.
That sound about right. That sound about right.
But I can harken back to days when my father would take me over to
Wait.
those
No.
I wanted to hear the young man. You know, it was that kind of deal. But I would go into the office over there on 79th Street, and it was the same kind of energy. You know what I mean? We would come in or whatever, and I would always pat my daddy down, and they would never pat me down. I'm a little dude. And he was like, man, if I was going to bring the shit in here, it'd be on him.
Put the pistol in the diaper bag, baby. That's how we roll.
You know what I'm saying? It's funny. I'm just laughing because Salim said what he said. That's funny to me.
No, that's real, man. But, you know, for me, it's about the greater discomfort, right? I think that some people will look at that equation that you just came up with and said, the greater discomfort would be for me to only make 50 G's, right? The greater discomfort for me would be to get up and do something that I don't want to fucking do every damn day. That's the greater discomfort for me. And I think that ideally in a world centered on like our natural state of being and who we're put here to be, our spiritual selves, everybody would make that choice.
But that's
that's not
though.
Now it's a social construct. It ain't a spiritual thing. It ain't a natural thing. It's
not. That's the fight.
Right.
That's the fight I
it's
come
like,
in with every week. That's why I
man,
argue about
bro.
the construct of relationships being transactional. Really, the most spiritual
really
experience you can have on this planet is with another human being.
They really are. When my marriage reached the point where it's like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna fucking work no more, I just fucking left. Like a house that I put a lot of work into, a lot of fucking time into, that has every comfortable amenity I had gotten used to. But it wasn't, the discomfort of going to somewhere else was not more uncomfortable than staying there at the time. It was like, no, I'll leave that.
So it's twofold for me.
I thought
though.
you loved that house. I do.
But it's twofold.
I'm leaving.
It's
Go,
twofold for
this
me.
is unhealthy and uncomfortable.
It's twofold though. Sometimes I think that discomfort is important and necessary, right? Because the goal is to grow you, not to grow the relationship per se, but it's to grow you, right? And one of the things that I found, and you know, we had this conversation a while ago, and we had the conversation about our parents and our experience with our parents.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I told you in that conversation that for a long time I was a womanizer and didn't even recognize it, right? And then I could reflect that back to the relationship I had with my mother. Now, in the midst of that, in the midst of those other relationships with those outside entities, those other women, I never reflected on I'm acting like this, or because I was a good guy, right? I was the not you know. Everybody was happy with me, but I knew who I was.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I would have never related that to my own insecurities or my own shortcomings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it took for me to sit in this relationship with my wife that made me very uncomfortable for a very long time to reflect back and look in the mirror and say, hold on, bro. This your shit. This your shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, that doesn't absolve her of having her own shit.
Heard you.
You know what I mean? She got her own shit too. But it took me years, my nigga.
Yeah.
To say, wait a fucking minute. This shit, not even just years and my mother passing away. It took both, without those things happening concurrently or consecutively together, I'd have never had that realization. So we run at the slightest discomfort, but never grow past the moment or that space, right? When that is part of the journey. That is the journey, right? And I don't know what it's going to take for whomever to get there. It's your shit. That's your experience.
Right.
I can't speak to that.
Right.
For me, it was years and my mother passing.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's different for different people, but what we usually do, because we're transactional, and I don't just mean give me. Yeah. I mean, I need to be happy at all times. And if I'm not happy at all times, then this shit ain't to my value. No, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like you just said a minute ago, you usually grow out of discomfort.
Yeah, that's real.
And oftentimes we run at the slightest hint of some shit that's irritating us.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean in regards to the relationship.
I hear you. I'm with
I
you.
mean in any capacity.
I'm with you 100%.
I.e. going back to Boog or going back to me or going back to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? This motherfucker was 40. Get a baby. Get babies.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
But
Can't really be there in the capacity that he wants to be there in. What kind of reference point or what kind of conversations are happening outside of him that I know are traveling back to him?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He all kind of ain't shit and
Man just got his first whip a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't, he ain't, that shit is hurtful.
he's not a high value man.
He's not a high value man.
He's not a high value
That shit
man.
is hurtful, right?
Right.
But within really a blink of the eye in context of his life,
Right.
this whole shit is done in 360.
Overnight success. Yeah, I guess it took 10 years
Now
for me
them
to become
same
overnight
motherfuckers
success.
would bow at his feet.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that was just his journey. It just is what it is.
But he was committed to it though. He had conviction in it. He knew that he was right. He knew that he was fired. He knew. And that's what fucking matters, G. He knew. I can only imagine how many times that Sha'Carri was told not to act like that after you win a race. Or can you imagine what she had to endure when she lost a race? With her energy being what it is? Man, like but she knew. She knew. And that's the type of conviction that, I'm trying to step into for myself, right? And I'm pretty good at it now, but it took me a long time, right? Because I was very, very humble to a fault, right? And it only in the past couple of years have I been intentional about catching myself when I'm being humble to a fault. When I'm being so humble that it's like doing me a disservice.
Fuck being humble though.
Agreed.
And here's what I'm saying when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We use words out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And words, like even when you think about the concept of affirmations, like words are spiritual.
Sure.
They have power.
They do.
You know what I mean? They spiritual because they create spells. Legitimately. That's why motherfuckers write affirmations and recite them every day. If I keep reciting this to myself, eventually I'll believe it. Now, it's on you if you don't know what the fuck you're reciting means. If you look up the definition of humble, it says having or showing modest or low estimate of one's importance. Mm-hmm. What kind of fucking human being are you?
What kind of fool is you?
What kind of fool is you to say this is a valued asset?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. And that's where we operate from.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm saying like it took me a while, bro. It just took me a while to not be so damn humble, right? And I obviously wasn't doing it with that definition in mind to say that I'm truly just devaluing myself but I guess kind of I was, but I was really just saying like I don't want to be out here beating my chest like I'm the shit.
I didn't want to be cocky.
Right. You know what I mean? But
it's
at
a
this
difference
point,
between confidence and arrogance too.
yeah,
Right. And I think what people lack or misunderstand in that the real difference is that arrogance is really just fear. It's a mask. It's the pretentious. It's pretend confidence.
right. It's fake confidence.
It's fake.
Right.
Right. So I could get it while most people struggle with recognizing the difference.
Yeah, because an empty wagon makes a lot of noise.
You know what I'm saying?
Mom,
I told you this too. Mom, man, used to tell my sister, like, she'd be like, man, they think I'm stuck up. And he'd be like, no, just tell them they stuck down. Fuck out of here. Get on
Fuck
my level.
outta here. Right.
Fuck out of here.
Right.
For real. That's real shit.
No, it really is. And now I'm in a space now where it's like I'm very comfortable and aware of what I'm not good at. Like we were talking the other day when I said Butter asked me to put together this fucking car. I don't know how to do that shit, fam. You bugging. Hell no. I don't know how to do nothing like that. You know what I mean? Somebody was asking me about like lighting a pilot and shit. Like, no, I don't know how to do that shit either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. But I'm also very much aware of what I am good at. Right? And so at this point in my life, I'll look anybody dead in their fucking face and tell you I'm the best host in the world. Period. Whatever it is.
Even Warren Sapp.
Yeah. Even Warren Sapp. You got me fucked up. I'm the best in the world at this shit.
Hey, little pie. Hey, should I do little dick?
I would say that Steve Harvey and Chris Rock can do it as well as me. And shout out to Domity and shout out to my man Young Wayne. Other than that, I don't think nobody can host shit as well as I can. Not a live show, not a concert, not a fashion show, not a fucking radio show, nothing. Like, prove me the fuck wrong. It's just not a real fucking thing in my mind. I was also that way about throwing a football at some point in my life. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, what I know I'm good at. Fuck you.
Yeah, I feel that same way in a lot of capacities too, but there's other capacities that I know I got shortcomings.
Me too, and I don't have no problem telling you that I don't know how to do that. I don't even have no desire to do that.
I.e. the value of community.
Yeah,
right.
I know somebody else who could do that.
Right. Now, how do we leverage one another to get to where we're trying to go?
Right. No, I don't.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to build that. But my man is a builder. Let me call and pay my man to do that.
It's only ego that stops or prevents people from moving like that. And you know, again, I think somebody said this earlier. No matter how far you get with that ego, eventually it's gonna deflate.
Period.
It is what it is.
Period.
You know what I mean? Innuendo.
Period. You know? Period. No, for real. It's just because it's not like it's coming from a disingenuous place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you coming from a genuine place, it don't meet my ears as toxic or harmful when Sha'Kari's like, no, I want everybody to know I'm that girl. Every time I show up on this track, it's showtime. Clearly she's put in the work. Clearly she is. Okay? She wasn't running against me and you out there. She's running against other world-class athletes, smoking their ass. After they all jumped out in front of her for the first 30 meters, she came back and still beat them by like 30 meters.
But the key is, and again, this gets back to fear,
right,
and cowardice,
right.
The key right there is that you said she put in the work.
She put the work in.
And I said love and fear can't operate in the same space. Mm-hmm. For her to become who she became, she loves that sport.
Loves it.
That love transferred into her commitment to that sport to create the level of greatness that she now carries, right? Mm-hmm. Now, after she wins or breaks records a week ago or so,
right,
there's this large conversation happening about her,
right?
Those people are talking about her in most instances because her commitment to whatever is something that they can't conceptualize, right? It's greatness is not foreign to nobody.
Right.
We can all harness it. You just gotta commit. You understand?
Yeah.
What's the quote? Small people talk about people, right? Large minds talk about ideas. You know, it's those kind of things.
And
right?
then you're right.
So you get, i.e., how many of us live in the space of just critiquing other people's movements while not moving? That shit is fear.
It's the whole world right now.
That's the vast majority of people.
Yeah, that's the whole world right now.
Right? Going back to Boog, going back. Man,
That's the Kwame Brown conversation. That's the fucking being. It's all the shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But I think that you get to a space where it's like, nah, you didn't put that work in, and you got the right to say I put it in. Period. And the proof is in the pudding. Like, ain't nothing to talk about.
But even in the construct of winning too, though, right? We seem to do it at they're winning at this level. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying you can do that at any whatever you do
at every level.
You find out what it is you're good at. It's it's what Whoopi Goldberg told Lauryn Hill in fucking Sister Act. If you wake up in the morning, you can't think about nothing but writing. You're supposed to be a writer. If you wake up in the morning, you can't think about nothing but singing. You're supposed to be a singer, right? Like that's what the fuck you're supposed to do. I wake up and think about putting on events, producing events of my own, or hosting events for other people. But I don't think about.
Well, going back, I can't remember
quarterly reports or shit like that. I don't have no desire.
What is it, Nietzsche or Rumi? I don't remember the philosopher, but when I say the quote, that there's no sign of sanity to fully assimilate into a sane society, right? Think about the performer who's at the crib who can blow a vocal note and do a dance 100 times better than Beyonce. You know what I mean? But she doesn't fit into the American aesthetic of beauty. She doesn't fit into the American aesthetic of performer. There's a brother named Kahari Lemuel. You know Kahari? Kahari is the dopest singer in the world to me.
Okay.
Right? And I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner at all. But Kahari will never be on the platform of
Trey Songz or Chris Brown.
Anywhere Western world popularized music.
Right.
Because his image just does not fit into that space. But I got several Kahari records that if I'm gonna turn on some R&B, those are my go-to joints. You know what I mean? But he does not fit into that aesthetic. Now, again, going back to the construct of how this insane society works.
That matters.
What kind of pressure does that put on that man to know that I'm this immensely talented? Not only just with his voice, but he plays instruments. He does the whole shit. You know what I mean? I'm this immensely talented, right? And where I'm talented at, no one has any value for it because I don't look this way.
Yeah.
Right? So for you to keep pursuing that,
Conviction.
you a G.
Plus again, you are also tied into what makes you happy. It ain't just the fucking money that could come from it. You know what I'm saying? If it was just the money that can come from it, you go do something else. Right? But it's about what makes me happy. And so if I can sustain myself and be a singer at whatever level that he's sustaining himself at, cool, because he's happy in that space. As opposed to giving that up, going to get him a job that's going to make more money, but not fulfill him. Like,
Boosie said, my bad, G. Boosie
Yeah.
said Herb never told us where we could get that hoodie. That's on the IzWiz website. No, it is
oh,
not. Those are not for sale.
I didn't know y'all asked that.
Those are not for sale.
Yeah,
Those
these-
are just gifts to us and
Yeah,
a gift
these-
to Beach. I think if we're gonna go forward with that, we'd have to have work out something with Beach.
Yeah, we have to work out something with Beach so he can eat off that. So we're gonna do those. These are just some exclusive joints, but it's the Walter Beach quote that we all know and love.
Yeah, it was just gifted to us, so it is not for sale.
Yeah.
We've had conversations.
Sorry, Boosie. Sorry, Boosie. But since you mentioned it, if enough of y'all want it, we'll holler at Beach about it and see if it's worthwhile to him, and if so, we might put it in the works. But as of now, that is not anywhere that it could be bought.
We're not gonna do that.
Okay, well there you have it.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
We're
Those
not-
are gonna be exclusive to us.
Cool beans.
There it is.
Well, there's that, man. I do want to say huge shout out to everybody that is on the I Say What I Said Black Love group page, or in the Black Love group. It's on the I Say What I Said page, but there's a IzWiz Black Love group. Is that what, am I saying it right? I literally just got on it today.
Yeah, I think that's it, but I don't know. Jules set it up. I think it's black. I don't know if I felt comfortable with that title, but it is what it is. We run it.
Let me see, because I literally just got in it, and I right now I don't even know how to get back to it. Yeah, IzWiz Pod Black Love. Hey, I got an invite to become a administrator on our page finally.
Go ahead,
Look at-
boy.
I'm
Look,
moving
you're
up
moving
in
on
this
up
world,
onto the
G. I
world.
swear to God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, IzWiz Pod Black Love's got 132 members in it. It's a private group, but that is a place where we want to be able to continue to have interactive dialogues, right? That's a place where we want to hear your ideas for conversations that you want to have. We want to talk about things that you guys want to talk about, memes, stories, books, movies, films, ideas. All of those types of things is the place that we want to continue to have those ongoing discussions with you all. And so if you're interested in being a part of that conversation,
How did you find it? Because now that I'm looking for it, I can't find it.
It popped up in my alerts or whatever. And so I saw it there, but I couldn't find it a couple of days ago. I was able to find it this time. I think some people may have gotten invitations to it, and we'll sit down and send out a whole bunch of more
I see it.
invites
I
too.
just searched groups.
Yeah. We'll sit down and send out a whole bunch of more invites to y'all too. But it's the IzWiz Pod Black Love, which hints at we'll be talking about Black Love. But we'll talk about anything y'all want in there as well. Any ideas that y'all have for either the discussion or group meetups or group projects. All of that is the place we want to be able to do that at. I am horrible at Facebook in general. And so like every other month or something, I'll go through like my Facebook Messenger and see that y'all done sent me messages and dope ass stories and dope ass ideas and topic ideas and just little cool shit or whatever. And I ain't seen it. Like I'm terrible at it. I don't know how to use Facebook yet, for real. And so I'll be missing it. But in this group, I think I should be able to keep up a little bit better. And so definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in. Again, this is IzWiz Pod Black Love. It is on the I Said What I Said Facebook page. Huge shout out to everybody that is tuned in, watching the show from the I Said What I Said Facebook page and from the What's in It for the Black People Media Facebook page, and to people watching on the I Said What I Said YouTube page. I think today was the first time we broadcasted from the I Said What I Said YouTube page directly. I think we usually will post the shows up there later, but for people watching it live on there today, huge shout out to y'all. We appreciate
people on there?
all of y'all. Yeah, there were earlier. Let me look.
I gotta go check that out too.
Yeah, no, that's super dope, man. So shout however you digest the show, man. We greatly appreciate y'all.
Shout out to Jules, man. If you all are in the actual I Said What I Said page, looking at the pod, Jules posted the Is Pod Back Love link in the comment section, so you can go right there.
On which page?
On the Is Pod page.
Okay.
Where we're broadcasting from outside of
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can pin it then.
We'll send it for the back.
Oh no, I'll have to. Actually, you could pin it because you signed into the I Said What I Said page, don't you? I'm not. I'm signed into my personal page. But anyhow, either way, that is just another way that we want to continue to bring content and have interactive discussions with y'all, and continue to make sure that this conversation is actually a conversation, and it's not a lecture from me and to y'all, right? It's an interactive discussion. Like I say all the time, your input is valued and it is appreciated. And anything you want to add to the conversation, we want you to feel free to do so. And so that is another place where you guys can get your voices heard or air your grievances, because we get a lot of that too. We get a lot of, fuck you niggas, we don't like y'all. As soon as two got into the group, somebody told him fuck you.
He didn't say fuck me, but he said I was wrong.
Well, we like that though.
I'm with it.
Yeah, we cool.
I'm with all the shit.
Yeah,
right? I think iron sharpens iron, right? I'm not afraid to be wrong. I wasn't wrong in this instance,
yeah,
in my opinion. But again, I like the dialogue. I like the discourse. Man. I'm not one of them kind of cats, right? I
like the challenges,
the debate. You know
what
I mean? I don't get offended by words.
Yeah, I said I'm on my first comment or whatever in the group page today. I was just like, man, I'm looking forward to learning from everybody and sharing my experiences as well. But I'm looking forward to learning. Like, you got to be open to it. If I had all the fucking answers, I'd be busy solving shit right now. You know what I mean? So definitely want to hear from y'all, whether y'all are in agreement or in disagreement. Either way, we appreciate all of y'all. Also appreciate you today, Ron. You all good in there, man?
Ryan said that, man. Ryan back there broken hearted or something.
What she do to you, bro?
I'm chilling.
You reading love letters back there, Jay?
What she do to you, bro?
Man.
Breakup letters instead?
I'm all good.
Everything good in paradise?
On, got his Tommy Buns whole look today.
We got trouble in paradise, man?
Not at all. Everything good over there. A-okay. I'm better thinking about moving soon, man.
Moving to where?
You know where we moving to.
You a real sucker,
yeah.
dude. You a sucker. Oh,
you know what's up.
I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah, you a sucker.
Sucker for love.
Oh, you sucker. Oh, God. Now, the first, I ain't even going to do that. I'll wait till we get off air.
That's a move.
I don't think that you're a sucker for that.
Get off air.
I don't think you're a sucker for it, right?
You're a sucker.
Right.
And I'm going to wait till I get off air to tell you why you're a sucker.
I don't think you're a sucker for it, bro.
Thank you.
I think you found somebody that you are extremely interested in, and I think you should explore that to the fullest extent of your possibilities and capabilities.
Far, man. That can go real far.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
We all got a test.
Absolutely. Bless your heart. Right. You know what I don't like? That we don't call him Lil Ron no more. I don't like it at all.
I call him Lil Ron.
I do sometimes, like personally, but not not publicly no more, because it's just a whole, like, people took it and made it a thing that it wasn't with us, even though we started it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't.
I don't like people stealing our shit. We got to stop putting tape on the labels.
That's true. And then it became this whole thing, and then he had to be offended about it. It was like,
once it's normalized,
that's not what we meant.
Shit, I don't like it no more.
Yeah, it's watered down now.
It ain't cool no
Put too much cream in the coffee, it ain't coffee no more.
Cream in the coffee. That's not for you.
It's not for you. I'll Lil Ron. Anyway, man, we got to get up out of here, man. Thank y'all so very, very much for tuning in to this Wednesday edition of I Said What I Said. What's going on tonight is the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Hawks and the Bucks. Shout out to the Bigs. They covered that ad nauseum today. So if you want to get caught up on that, go back and hop on the soil with the Bigs. Watch the episode today. They talked about the Western Conference. They talked about the Eastern Conference. They gave their predictions as well going forward. Shout out to the Bigs. Per usual. We'll be back here on Friday at 1 p.m. Central
Relationship
Standard
Friday.
Time.
The
Relationship
homie
Friday.
Kenneth. Call your strap cousin.
We talking to studs.
Talking to studs.
Stud Friday.
The real men in the community.
Y'all for real?
I don't know.
We're doing Stud Friday, man.
If we can get some studs to come, if we can get some
I got
studs,
studs,
we'll
bro.
definitely talk to 'em. You got studs?
Oh, yeah, I got studs.
Call them studs,
Nigga, I'm
Jim.
finna
Call him stud. Hey, stud.
Hey, stud.
Hey, stud.
Holla at me, stud.
Holla at me, stud.
That's whack, G. Because without a shorty, stud.
Stud was
like
the real
a term,
word, right?
like,
That's the real word.
You can use with your people.
Right, your guys was what up, stud?
What up, stud?
This stud.
These days,
Everything gets hijacked.
G, they've confiscated language, G.
Like Lil Ron.
G, we was in the parade, and I did not mean any disrespect by no stretch of the imagination. But there
This
was
is going to be the most disrespectful shit ever.
there was in the Juneteenth parade, there was this LGBT car,
There was.
right?
There was.
And I couldn't think of LGBT in the moment, and I'm talking. I was like, yeah,
That
these
gay
gay studs. But I thought that was like the proper term. I didn't mean no disrespect at all. I was like, the gay studs is with us and everything.
The gay studs is with us and
I
everything.
thought gay was appropriate though.
I don't know what's appropriate.
I don't know.
I told you I told you I didn't know whether to dap the lady up, hug the lady. I don't know what's appropriate no more. Very, very confused.
Yeah, I don't know, Jay.
I'm just gonna be me and whatever.
I know they added 2 more letters to the end.
LGBTQ plus. I salute them, man. I salute them for real. What we gotta play that clip from. I think we played it on here before though. Arsenio Hall getting in that back and forth with the 2 gay dudes that came on the show that calling them out for not having gay people on the show.
Little boy in Atlanta getting beat up on the porch by somebody
Nah,
because he had homosexual behavior. Like it was like a father
I heard
or
about
or
it.
something.
I heard about it, but no, I didn't see it. I did hear
that
about
shit
it.
was so out of line, bro.
Motherfuckers OC, G.
You can't beat the gay out of them, y'all. Stop that shit.
Yeah.
That shit was so disrespectful.
Yeah, we had that conversation yesterday too. I'll leave that private, but we had that conversation yesterday. We was over at Sophie about somebody in particular. But either way, man, we'll be back here on Friday. Maybe we'll be talking about studs. Maybe we'll be talking to some studs. We'll try to get that conversation.
Call your stud cousin. That sounds crazy.
You got your strap? You
Tell
know
him to
it.
You know I got the strap.
You know it. Like, oh, dog.
That changes the conversation. You got the pole?
You got the pole.
Who got the pole?
Keep my pole on me. They wear their little gray sweatpants with their strap on.
Polo.
Down to their knee. They bugging. We got to get up out of here, man. We'll see y'all on Friday. For Ron Rilla, Toussaint Werner, my name is Herb Howard. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Salam alaikum.
WIIFTBP.
You about that life? I'm about that life. You ain't really about that life. Turn up. If you really about that life, then turn up. JC, spit a key. Let me test your work. Ross, you the boss? Let me test your work. Jesus, you talking breezy? Let me test your work. Cam, you the man? Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop, like that chronic, I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin for my daughter. Big time, in the club with a case of Ace. And I stiff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years. Hard time. Bobby was fucking up. Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac arrest. Hands up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan her mess, but I've never go for bump her breasts. I must confess, I heard from a